We are, however, concerned about the events of this past week in Jerusalem and the broader ongoing tensions and violence in the occupied West Bank.
I now give the floor to Mr.
While the visit was not accompanied or followed by violence, it is seen as particularly inflammatory given Mr. Ben-Gvir's past advocacy for changes to the status quo. The visit was sharply condemned by the Palestinian Authority, many others across the region, and the international community as a provocation that risked sparking further bloodshed. Many also warned against any changes to the status quo at the holy sites. Please allow me this opportunity to welcome Ecuador, Japan, Malta. As we have seen numerous times in the past, the situation at Jerusalem's holy site is deeply fragile, and any incident or tension there can spill over and cause violence throughout the occupied Palestinian territory, in Israel and elsewhere in the region. With that reality in mind, I reiterate the Secretary General's call for all parties to refrain from steps that could escalate tensions in and around the holy sites. Thank you for inviting me to address the Council on recent developments in occupied Israel. Over the past several days, the United Nations has remained in close contact with the relevant parties to de-escalate the situation, and these engagements will continue in the coming days and weeks. At this sensitive moment, all efforts to lower tensions should be encouraged, while provocations, inflammatory steps, unilateral actions, and threats of violence must be categorically rejected. Leaders on all sides have a responsibility to lower the flames and create the conditions for calm.
I now give the floor to the members of the Security Council.
Secretary Blinken has said very clearly that it's absolutely critical for all sides to exercise restraint, refrain from provocative actions and rhetoric at the Haram, al-Sharif Temple Mount, and other holy sites in Jerusalem, both in word and in practice. In this spirit, we oppose any and all unilateral actions that depart from the historic status quo, which are unacceptable. And thank you, Assistant Secretary General Chiari, for
La France exprime sa profonde préoccupation après la récente visite du ministre israélien de la Sécurité sur l'esplanade des mosquées le 3 janvier. Tout doit être fait pour éviter une escalade qui emporterait des conséquences graves sur le terrain.
What red line does Israel need to cross for the Security Council to finally say enough is enough and to act accordingly? When are you going to act? It has displayed utter disregard for the sanctity of Palestinian life, the sanctity of international law, and the sanctity of al-Haram al-Sharif. All that we have misunderstood what our people are running out of patience, and the moderation and sense of responsibility we display should never be construed as weakness. The record shows that Israelis' persistence on this path does not lead to surrender, but to uprising. Those committed to international law and peace must act now, not lament once the fire spreads beyond control.
Previous practice in this regard.
This time, I'm truly shocked. And why? Because there is absolutely no reason that this emergency session today should be held. None. To hold a Security Council session on a non-event is truly absurd. The very fact that this meeting was called is an insult to our intelligence. The status quo is clear. Only Muslims can pray on the Temple Mount, but Jews and Christians may only visit, regardless of their title or position. To claim that this brief and completely legitimate visit should spark an emergency Security Council session is pathetic. Security Council session on what?